Hi, my 10th grade students. Today we'll continue the revision for our material, and today I'm trying to resolve again the second assessment exam in order to know what was exactly your mistakes in this exam. I will start with the first question. The first question is about geometry. As you know, it's a circle theorem. This circle has a center O, so OC is a radius and OA is a radius also, and the angle COB is 50 degrees, and you know always the radius will be perpendicular on the tangent, so this angle is 90 degrees. And the first question is, what about the size of the angle CBO? We are talking about this angle. So you know that OCB is a right angle triangle add up to 180 degrees. So we have 50, we have 90, add up to 180. So you can say 180 minus the sum of 90 degrees plus 50 degrees. And the answer is 40 degrees. So the answer for this question is 40 degrees. Now, what about the angle DOC? Where is the angle DOC? You have to connect a line between D and O. So we are talking about this angle. This is the angle DOC. This is the angle DOC. What is the size of this triangle? This angle, sorry. Again, you know that this kite has two tangents starting from the same point, so this side equal to this side, and this radius to the tangent is perpendicular, and this radius to the tangent is perpendicular, and this kite is a quadrilateral. The interior angles add up to what? To 180 degrees. So if this angle is 90 and this angle is 90, so these two angles add up to 180 degrees, right? So if you know this angle is 40 and this triangle is also 90 degrees, this triangle is a right angle triangle. So if this angle is 40 and this angle is 90, so the sum of this angle is what? 50. But this angle with the opposite angle add up to what? To 180. So 180 minus 50, it will be 130. 130 is the angle AOC. But because we need DOC, so you can divide 130 divide by 2 to get 65 degrees. So the angle is 65 degrees. This is for the first equation. Let's go to the second equation. The second equation is about mensuration, and it's I need the perimeter of the shaded area. You know that the perimeter is, you had to add the length. So this side is 6, so you can add 6, plus this side is 8, so you can 8, plus this side is 6 again, plus we have 1 centimeter here and 1 centimeter here. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 6, it will be like this side, which is 6. So you have to add 1 from this side, plus 1 from the other side, plus the arc length. And this arc is it's like the circumference of the semicircle. You know the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, but because it's semicircle, you have to divide by what? 2. What about r? What is r? R is the radius. Because this diameter is 6 centimeter, so it will be divided into 3 centimeter in this side, 3 centimeter in this side. So if you cancel 2 with 2, you can add 6 plus 8, it's a 22. 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 1 plus 1, it's a 22, plus pi r, pi times 3. If you use the calculator, you will get the answer. The answer is 31.4. So 31.4, the answer to 1 decimal place, the degree of accuracy as he required in the question. Let's go to the third question. The third question is about trigonometry. First of all, we have this quadrilateral and a regular quadrilateral. AB is 3 centimeter as shown, AC is 5 centimeter, the angle BAC is 45. Calculate the length of BC. This length is BC. It's a side in the lower triangle. We have two sides and we have the angle in between, so it's better to use cosine rule. So we can say that BC is 5 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 3 multiplied by cosine the angle in between, which is 45 degrees. And you have to put the answer under square root. If you use the calculator, you will get the answer, which is exactly 3.58 to 3 significant figures as he required. Let's go to the part B, the second part of the question. We need the angle BCA. BCA, we are talking about this angle. You can use cosine rule or you can use sine rule again. So you can say sine 45 degrees over the side opposite to the side, and the side we found it's a 3.58 equals sine this angle. I don't know what's this angle. Let's suppose this angle is theta. So sine theta over the side opposite, which is 3 meters. By cross multiplication, you can say sine theta as 3 multiplied by sine 45 over 3.58. If you use the calculator and put sine inverse the answer, this answer, you will get the angle, and the angle will be 36.3 degrees to 1 decimal place. 36.3 to 1 decimal place. Let's go to question number 4. Also, question number 4 is about solving trigonometrical equations. Before using the calculator, we have to make sine x as a subject. So when you divide by 4, you will get sine squared x equals 1 over 4, dividing by 4 the both sides. Put the square root for the both sides. So sine x is positive or negative square root of 1 over 4, which is positive or negative 1 over 2. I told you many times, when you square both sides, put plus or minus for the second number. So we have two equations. The first equation, we have sine x equals half. So x is sine inverse to half. The calculator will give you 30 degrees. Don't forget to put 30 degrees in the first quadrant, 30 degrees in the second quadrant, 30 degrees in the third quadrant, 30 degrees in the fourth quadrant. Because sine x is positive, so sine is positive, as I told you before, in the first and in this second quadrant. In the first is 30, so you can put 30. In the second quadrant, the angle is not 30, it is obtuse angle, so it is 180 minus 30. 180 minus 30, the answer is 150 degrees. This is the second angle. What about the other two angles? We have another equation. You have to put also sine x is negative half. We solved the first part when sine x is positive half, but it's negative half, and the sign is negative in the third and the fourth quadrant. In the third quadrant, it is 180 plus 30. This is 210. So you have to put 210 here. And in the fourth quadrant is a 360 minus 30. 360 minus 30. minus 30. The answer is 330, and this is the fourth answer, 330. You will get 4 marks if you put 4 angles like this. Let's go to question number 5. We have two lines. They are perpendicular. The first line has an equation, L1 has an equation y equals, you can rearrange the equation again as to make it as mx plus c, so it's negative 2x plus 6. So m1, the gradient for this line is negative 2. So because L2 is perpendicular to L1, so m2 is negative reciprocal this answer, so it is half. So this is the gradient of, what's the equation of L2? L2 has an equation, y equals m half x plus c. And I don't know what is the value of c, but I have a point lies on the second line L2. So you can put instead of x 4, and you can put instead of y 7 in the equation. So 7 equals half times 4 plus c. 7 equals 2 plus c. C is, if you put c as a subject, you will put 2 to the other side, is 7 minus 2, which is 5. So the equation of the line L2, y equals half x plus c, which is 5. This is the equation of the line L2. But the question, he didn't ask me to find the equation of L2. He asked me to find when L2 cross the x-axis. Yani I need the x-intercept. You know that to find x-intercept, you have to put y equals to 0. If you substitute y equals to 0 in this equation, you will get 0 equals half x plus 5. If you put 5 to the other side, so half x equals negative 5. So when you multiply by 2 the both sides, x is negative 10, not positive 10, it's negative 10. So what is the intersection points? You have to, he asked me find the coordinates, so you have to put the answer in the answer. You have to give me the answer as negative 10 instead of x and 0 instead of y. This is the right answer. If you do any mistakes in ordering, if you put 0, negative 10 or 10, 0, you will lose mark in this question as an accuracy mark. Okay, let's go to question number 6. Question number 6 is about simultaneous equation, but the first equation, as you see, it's a quadratic, and the second equation is a linear. The best method to solve two simultaneous equations, one is a quadratic and the second is linear, is by substitution. You can substitute the second equation in the first equation. Yani you can put instead of x, each x 2y minus 3. So if you return back to the first equation, we have 2x squared plus 3y squared equals what? 14. I can replace x, instead of x we can put 2y minus 3, so we have 2y minus 3 instead of x. Now we cannot distribute the power, we have to expand, so put 2 outside and expand this 2y minus 3 multiply by 2y minus 3 plus 3y squared equals 14. So keep 2 outside, expand this, 2y times 2y is 4y squared, 2y multiplied by negative 3 is negative 6y, negative 3y multiplied by 2y is negative 6y, negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, plus 3y squared equals 14. But don't forget we have 2 outside, so you have to multiply 2 by each term inside the brackets. So 2 times 4y squared is 8y squared. Negative 6y is negative 12y. 2 multiplied by negative 12y, it's negative 24y. And 2 multiplied by 9 is positive 18. Plus 3y squared equals 14. Now you can add the like terms. We have 8y squared plus 3y squared is 11y squared. Negative 24y, put it such as it is, and put 14 beside 18, it will be positive 4 equals to what? To 0, because it will be, you can say 18 minus 14, which is 4. Now you can either factorize this or use the formula. We can factorize it. if you want to factorize this equation as a quadratic equation, you know that the quadratic equation can be solved by factorizing, by using the formula, by completing squares. I prefer factorizing. 11y squared is 11y multiplied by y, and 4, it is 2 times 2. Because 4 is positive, so you have to put the same sign. To get negative 24, you have to put negative and negative. To check your answer, if you multiply 11y multiplied by negative 2, it's negative 22y. And negative 2 multiplied by y is negative 2y. If you add them, negative 24y, the term in the middle, which is right. So either 11y minus 2 equals to 0. So you can say that y equals 2 over 11. If you put 2 to the other side, then divide by 11. Or y minus 2 equals to 0, so y is 2. So we have two values of y, 2 over 11, and we have 2. But what about x? We have x. We have the formula of x. X equals 2y minus 3. So when if y equals 2 over 11, x is what? If you return back to the equation, x is what? 2y minus 3. So it is 2 multiplied by 2 over 11 minus 3. So it will be 4 over 11 minus 3, which is negative 29 over 11. If y is 2, x is 2 times 2 minus 3, which is 2 times 2 is 4, 4 minus 3 is 1. So you can put also two values of x, which is negative 29 over 11, and we have 1. So two values of x and two values of y, and in this way you will get the full mark in this question. Let's go to question number 6. Question number 7. Yes, question number 7, it's about sequences. Is it the first, in this sequence, is it arithmetic? No, because we don't have the same difference each time. Is it geometric? If you divide 11 by 5, it's not like 21 over 11. I will try if it's quadratic or not. So 11 minus 5 is 6, and 21 minus 11 is 10. 35 minus 21 is 14, and 53 minus 35 is 18. But if you look at the second difference, 10 minus 6 is 4, 14 minus 10 is 4, 18 minus 14 is 4. So you can use the formula, it's a quadratic. And the formula for any quadratic sequence is a plus n minus 1 times d plus c over 2 n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2. What is a? A is the first term, which is 5. What is d? D is the first difference, which is 6. What is c? C is the second difference, which is 4. When you substitute 5 plus n minus 1 times d, which is 6, plus 4 over 2, n minus 1 times n minus 2. It is 5 plus 6 times n is 6n. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 4 over 2 is 2. When you open two brackets, n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 is n squared minus 2n minus 1n negative 3n plus 2. Expand, simplify, you will get 6n. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. 2n squared minus 6n. If you expand, 2 times n squared is 2n squared. 2 times negative 3n, negative 6n. 2 times 2 is 4. 2n squared, nothing like 2n squared, but you have 6n minus 6n will remove each other, cancel each other. Negative 1 plus 4, it's positive 3. So this is the final formula for the nth term in the simplest form in terms of n. If you look at B, it's an arithmetic sequence. Why? Because we have a common difference. 8 minus 13 is negative 5. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Negative 7 minus 2, it's negative 7 plus 2, which is negative 5. So arithmetic, A, the first term is 13. And D, the common difference is not 5, it's negative 5 because it's a decreasing sequence. You know that the nth term is A plus n minus 1 times D. So A is 13 plus n minus 1 times D, which is negative 5. So 13 minus 5n, when you expand, negative 5 times n is negative 5n. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. So when you add the numbers, 13 plus 5 is 18 minus 5n. And this is the formula for the nth term in the simplest form, 18 minus 5n. Now let's go to the last question, which is question number 8. Question number 8 is about differentiation. First of all, we have a cubic function, y equals x cubed minus a 12x plus 4. He asked me to find dy over dx, dy over dx using the differentiation rules. X cubed, you have to put 3 down. X to the power 3 minus 1 is 2. And negative 12x is negative 12. So in this answer, you have to put 3x squared minus 12. This is the derivative of the cubic equation. Now he asked me to find the coordinates of A and B. And you know that A is a maximum and B is a minimum. How to find the maximum and minimum? We have to find something is called turning point or stationary points, first of all. How to find the stationary point? First of all, you have to put the derivative at the stationary points. You remember that if you draw any tangent, it will be parallel to the x-axis at the maximum or at the minimum. So always dy over dx, which is the gradient, equals to 0 in the minimum, and dy over dx at the maximum equals to 0. And we have dy over dx. So you can start with 3x squared minus 12 equals to 0. How to solve like this equation? 3x squared equals 12. If you put negative 12 to the other side, divide by 3, x squared is, divide by 3 both sides, x is 4, x squared is 4. So x is what? Positive or negative 2? Positive or negative 2. This is the x coordinates of the turning points. When x is negative 2, what is y? Y, you have to substitute and return back to the main equation. Don't substitute in dy over dx, you will get 0. You have to substitute in y. This is y to get the y coordinates. So 2 cubed or negative 2 cubed minus 12 times negative 2 plus 4. So you will get y equals 20. Y equals 20. Now we have another value for x. When x is 2, substitute in the same equation y as 2 cubed minus 12 times 2 plus 4. Y is negative 12. Now, where is A, where is B? If you look at A, the x coordinates of A should be negative, so it is negative 2, and the y coordinates is positive, it's a 20. If you look at B, the x coordinates is positive, is 2, and the y coordinates is negative, which is negative 12. Okay, so if you return back to the coordinates, you can write the coordinates of A. What's the coordinates of A? The coordinates of A, it's negative 2 and 20. And what's the coordinates of B? It's 2, positive, and negative 12. This is the right answer for A and B. He didn't ask you to determine the nature of a stationary point, but if he asks you to determine the nature of the stationary points from the graph, this is the maximum, and this is what? The minimum. Okay? If he asks you determine the nature of a stationary points, you can, if you have a graph, you can from the graph say that A is a maximum, this is the maximum, and B is the minimum, this is the minimum. But if you don't have the graph, I told you before, you can use the second derivative test. So you can use d squared y over dx squared, differentiate again the function. What was the first derivative? This is the first derivative. Differentiated again, it will be 6x, and negative 12 is 0. And substitute the first stationary points when x is negative 2, when x is negative 2, so d squared y over dx squared is 6 times negative 2, which is negative 12, and it is less than 0. So x is negative 2 will give you, and the y coordinates is 20, will give you maximum. Why maximum? Because the second derivative is less than 0. But if you substitute 2 when x is 2, in the second derivative, d squared y over dx squared is 6 times 2, which is 12, and 12 is bigger than 0. So 2 and its image, which is negative 12, is minimum because the second derivative is less than 0. Hopefully you understand exactly the solution of the question, and please, you can check your email, you send it to me, and revise again what was your mistakes exactly. Thank you for listening. See you later. Bye bye.